Okay, so expanding on our West Russia Jam series, we got the game with Blackadder going on. That's a KJF. I figured I'm going to record one here too real quick of an early West Russia Jam. That's probably going to be a KGF, mainly from learning from my Blackadder one where the two-sub survival and having to dump into the Atlantic is just going to make KJS really tough, which I knew, but I just, the battleship went out. I had to kill it in the Blackadder one and go that C-Zone 37 aspect. That said, that game's right now, as I'm recording this, that game's looking really tight, probably favoring the Axis slightly. So this, because of this, I think we're going to go ahead and plan on KGF with this. So on top of it, so he had good success here and here. Obviously, he sank those two. He did send a fighter by itself against a cruiser and successfully won that. So a lot of good luck for Germany here on this front. But then he tried to do attacking Egypt, and that ended up being a very bad result for him. So Egypt right here ended up being, he lost 2 infantry and 2 tanks retreating with the bomber, where we only lost 1 infantry in there. So, interesting. I thought putting the Russian fighter there discouraged them from attacking Egypt, but I guess not. One of the things I have noted, just in the couple games that I have done and put the Russian fighter down here in Egypt, is a weakness to it is when UK pulls out completely on UK1, that leaves the opportunity for these J fighters to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And although he's likely to lose a fighter, there's a good chance he takes out the Russian fighter, which a lot of times is affecting our pressure on the West Russia-India front. And you never like to lose a Russian fighter. So I got to think that through next time, if it's worth just letting them have the shot on Egypt without it. As a lot of times I don't use that fighter necessarily, although it is part of my reinforcing of this dead zone of C-Zone 32. I don't know. It's something I'm going to have to play with, think about a little bit, because otherwise I have to leave an infantry. Like, I am going to go ahead and put an infantry here to cover the Russian fighter, and that I feel comfortable with, because he doesn't have much to attack here, and if anything, that means we're going to trade Egypt, and he's already low on units, so I'm happy trading with Egypt, especially if we're going to go into a KGF scenario here. He did do a 5-tank build with a couple infantry and a artillery on top of it, so a mostly tank rush. So I want to make sure that we're able to keep this dead zone. I think we're going to be able to do that even with potentially attacking Karelia. Other option is I could hit here and not attack Karelia and double check to see if he sent 14 tanks and his fighters and his infantry. He probably could stack it, but maybe we can even dead zone that with a Russia, the West Russia here. Not sure. I'll have to look at that. But that's on Russia's turn anyways. We're on UK's turn. So, one, because he's going to want to be coming here and he's going to want to put Russian fighters in there. All the more why I like my UK twist with the cruiser here to limit how many fighters he could put on the mainland right off the bat. So, possibly... So I one of the reasons I think I am going to go ahead and do my UK twist aspect. The other thing is UK twist is especially strong even in a KGF where we can really do almost a 2-ocean where I do my Indian Ocean, Atlantic Ocean attack when we aren't able to drop an Atlantic fleet, which he's got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units that could hit C-Zone 7. The best I could do is drop a destroyer carrier in 2 and 4. So I think I'm going to steer away from that and instead focus on getting the U.S. built up and pump some UK fighters into the center, especially since he's doing a tank rush. Getting early UK air to the center is a good thing, and especially if we can put it down here in dead zone C-Zone 36 potentially from J2 even. If we can get a J2 dead zone, depending on how he reacts in the Pacific, then that's really going to be a boon to us. So that said, we're going to do our fighter bomber instead of carrier destroyer. I don't have to do this attack because, again, this Russian fighter, that's one attack that he can do on the way back. But it also might be able to save me Russian infantry for dead zoning these two zones. Thought about, potentially attacking there with the fighter and artillery, but I think we're just going to hold off on that. I think that's all our attacks. Thought about hitting the battleship, but I think we're going to hold off on it, and we're just going to make sure that we have 16 dead zone and hopefully 17. Just dawned on me, actually, that I should have been thinking about this. He left that fighter hanging that I can hit that with US and kill that. That would have been one less to come up here. I didn't think about that. Probably still will do that, actually. To hopefully take the territory and kill the fighter, sacrificing a transport. Alright. I'll save at least one Russian infantry, because I'd do two if I had to send the Russians. Go away. Peace. Now, again, I will say this whole West Russia is me learning by playing. I'm not overthinking it because, again, I'm just not wanting to overthink. Come on. Overthink a ranked game right now. Did he leave other things? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So he's got battleship, 2 infantry, and a bomber that can hit there. Give me 3. That's 4. 5. 1, 2, 3. 6, 7 units. Hitting the possibility of 5. We are good. So he'll have 2 infantry, battleship, bomber. We got infantry, tank, and fighter, or artillery, tank, fighter there. Infantry, fighter there. Nothing else we can put there right now. I think we'll have this 2 fighters, bomber, dead zoning it here. We're going to have fighter, bomber, fighter, as long as we keep one of these 2, which will be an infantry versus my infantry, and hopefully I kill that fighter. And he'd have 2 infantry, bomber, battleship versus artillery, tank, fighter, and possibly a second U.S. fighter coming in there. So we should have these 2 dead zoned. The U.S. build should get 14 dead zoned, and so that would just leave him 15 being safe for next turn. And we'll work on, the latest he'll live is U.S. 3. Unless he corners it and doesn't have anything to transport, in which case sometimes I just won't bother attacking because there's no benefit to me attacking. All right. Let's see this real quick. I do want to double check this. I think we're going to have 2 fighters and a bomber. And we're going to drop an infantry, so that'll give us 3 infantry. And 4 planes, 3 fighters and a bomber. 7 units, and the most he could put here is 5 if he gets no hitbacks at all. So I think we're comfortable with just 2 right there. That way we can have as much to pressure a 1-2 on Caucasus if he decides to try to stack it. So the point being, if he tries to stack by moving them and getting all his J-air on the ground, I think we'll be okay even with Russia alone, but if not, we got when Germany goes in with their 11 infantry, because he'll grab his transport, 1 artillery, 9 tanks. We will have a 3 plus a tank plus 1, 2, 3, 5 air that we can do a 1-shot strike to weaken it before the J airplanes come in. It's costly, but a lot of times that'll make it so that Russia can then just wipe out Germany. So Germany cannot get that Caucasus stack. We really want to avoid him getting a Caucasus stack. I like putting the fighter down here because bomber can get down here on UK2 as well to help put pressure on C-Zone 36. So I will put the bomber up here. So that's 3 more planes, 4, 5, 6, 7 planes we can have threatening C-Zone 36, in addition to our 8, 9, 10, 11, 4 extra boats that potentially could be pressuring C-Zone 36 depending on how he respawns. So that's 11 units. If he does Pearl, those are gone. That leaves him potentially 2 carriers, 4 fighters, a 6, 7, 8 with the 2 battleships, and 9 with the destroyer. Add in their extra hit, gives them 10 to 11 equivalent. So we can pretty well dead zone if he does Pearl. If he keeps units back up here in 60-62 to protect built transports, then we definitely can do a dead zone of 36. So there we go. Oh, you know what? Dang it. Hopefully he doesn't attack anything. I know it's too late. I forgot to set that to submerge before taking my turn. Alright, so this is our West Russia KGF game. Japan, their buys feeding into my KGF aspect, and that he did 2 fighters and destroyer means he's only got 1 transport for shucking. So he's going to have a slow build in Japan. It means J3 India is going to be non-existent. It does mean he's going to have heavy air that we got to watch coming over to the Atlantic. So we're that could be something we have to watch out for. But Japan development is going to be very slow, so that's good. So hopefully we can get a cause a stack against the slow development. Hold ourselves here, and see where we go. It does mean he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 fighters and a bomber that he can land in Caucasus. So we need to double check that calculation real quick. Make sure we play in a way that dead zones this. So looking a little bit more at this, he did drop his tank. He's got all his air right here that can do the 1, 2, 3, 4 landing in here. Or even just the 1, 2, 3 landing in Ukraine if we manage to hold, where he can blitz the tank, hit my 3 with all that air. But I can't step my AA in there, especially since he's not going to have much J3 pressure now without the transports there. So we can always go UK2, UK3, UK4 for J4 if he decides to rebound and go for that. So we're going to remember to put that AA in there when we drop back before Japan's turn to make him hopefully a little bit more scared of hitting the tank and the infantry, the 3 infantry, the AA with a tank and all the air. So that being said, we're going to be building 6 infantry, 2 artillery. If we've got 24 infantry plus the 5 artillery, the 4 tanks, and the 2 Russian fighters, and he lands 6 fighters and a bomber in there, what does that mean with just the Russia attack? So hopefully, I prefer not to have to do the UK 1-2 thing, right? Because that's a big hit on UK, but then we can crush whatever he has in there. If I've got 24 infantry in there, it's a 48% chance for me at a profitable battle, but I don't think that's really what I want. I want to have at least 25 infantry, and ideally would be 26 infantry. We got to put 1 in here, so we're building 5. 24, 25, 26 would be him. I at least take him out. Curious, so if we've got that there, would we be able to dead zone Karelia? If he's got an AA, say he's got 6, 8, 9 infantry. How many tanks could he move there? 9, 14 tanks he could put up there. And he could put in, how many fighters he's got? He's got 5 fighters in range. This one is not in range. He could put a bomber there, so he could put 5 fighters and a bomber there. So we have just about an equal hit there as we would have down there. Woo-wee. It'd be expensive though, man. Well, for U.S., I think we're going to do a traditional U.S. turn for KGF. Even though we did have the carrier survive here, I am still going to go ahead and build a carrier here, carrier destroyer, just because of the subs that we got to clean up, and who knows if they get hit backs and whatnot. So, so 2 transport, destroyer, carrier, a couple infantry.
No reason to send my sub that way, so might as well send him this way as well. So one of the things with this move here, so here normally you go US1, US2, US3, we're here. Here we go US1, US2, US3, we're here. So we get there in the same time. So I'm okay with diverting that direction. Although that fighter we could send this way to go towards them. Actually, I think I will still go that route. We'll use this fighter instead. Let that fighter non-combat back that direction. So I can still come down to Brazil. Otherwise, this guy's still going to be in range of anything. So I either sit tight here or come down to Brazil. The only advantage of sitting tight is next time I can go to 2, which is not that big a deal because I so rarely go to 4. So it might be worth coming here just to be ready to clean anything up over here. I don't know. We'll see how the attack goes. It'd be nice to kill that fighter there. I will trade a transport for a fighter. Tanks shooting fighters out of the air. Nice. So I've really thinned out his troops down here. Now he does have his transport, so he'll be able to pull 2 more down, whatever he decides to do. I have to look at that TJ. I think I might need to land my US fighter there. I can't remember. Oh. The carrier hits. The carrier hits. Come on. Whatever. It's a hit. It's a hit. Come on, planes. Thank you. I don't have to worry about him hitting Alaska because he didn't leave anybody back that way. Let's see. Here he's exposed, so might as well go back into there. I do think I want to put him here in case he thinks battleship 2 in between a bomber. I guess I should double check my numbers there, but I just assumed it'd be okay there. I'll double check that before I hit finalize on that fighter, if I need that fighter up there or not. I shouldn't with the West Russia jam, but I will double check that. Yeah, we are easily okay there. So I think that's good. So running the calculators, even using 1 infantry versus 1 here and using my fighter there, I'm a little bit nervous that he'd still go ahead and push all in and put his everything back that way. I don't think he would. I mean, I will have this infantry coming back, but he still could hit it with all the planes. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll just do this one because I'm greedy. Oh, well, we do need this. So that'll give us 19, 25, and 5. 26 if we count him, if he avoids attacking by me moving the AA up. I don't know if he will or not. If he does attack, then of course there's a decent chance that we could possibly get a hit on a fighter going, or bomber. He can't hit anything useful. Yep, that'll be it. Five, 5, 5. Ah. I would much rather have taken the territory, but here we go. We're just going to move everybody. I am going to give him arch free this time, unfortunately, because of this. But we'll counter it coming back. And that should be it. Put our guys here. I hate giving arch free. I hate leaving Karelia alive. But we got Karelia kind of dead zoned. We've got Caucasus dead zoned, so hopefully he can't push into it. There we go. Alright, so Germany 2, they bought 10 infantry, artillery, and a bomber. So they put that bomber down here. That gives them 2 bombers, 5 fighters, and a sub pressuring C-Zone 7. That's 8 units. I only got 1 U.S. unit that can join it. I could fly these 2 back, but the best I'm building is 2 boats. So we're talking, 5 units versus 8. That's with a sub buffer. That's worth taking a shot for them. So we can't really build anything here for them this turn. So that means we move and look at what we can do down here. So the other thing that he did, he built his 2 transports there, but we can kill the battleship this turn. We got 2 fighters, bomber, shot. We could even take, well, that would be it, 2 fighters and a bomber shot on them. So I think we're going to take that shot, get rid of that transport, not let them advance those 2 infantry faster. It does leave some interesting things here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. 1, 2. That I can do a cruiser block, a carrier 2 destroyer build, fly 3 fighters on top of it, and he's got 5 fighters and 1 bomber because he got everything on the land here. So he could attack 5 fighters, 1 bomber there, and I would be okay. He'd have 2 bombers he could follow up with. I think I'm willing, if he wants to waste money on, units on attacking a fleet, that would not necessarily be a bad thing. But the one thing I did look at, and I had to run the calculators for, is if he moves all of these guys forward, if I stay in West Russia, I've got 24 IPC for Russia, so if I build 8 infantry, these 3 guys will take out that guy. So all the rest of mine will be good because we're going to take these guys out.
Most likely with a US-2 infantry, fighter, bomber, to take them out. And then, Russia should have it, or at most have to use 1 unit in there. But nonetheless, I calculated if we built 8 infantry, we had all this here, we stack up the Ukraine ready to do a 1-2 shot. What does all of that mean exactly? And that's where we're going to figure that out. It does mean that if he brought in these 2 fighters and this fighter and got them all on land, so he had 8 fighters and 1 bomber on land or in range of Caucasus, so in 61 or land, if he got all 8 fighters and 1 bomber in range, he could then fly those in on J3 and have the stack. And that's the last thing I want. Good news is, no matter what, on Russia's turn, I could determine to come down, do a Caucasus stack, and force him into a West Russia move, which would mean the ones in the C-Zone 61 would not be able to help stack, and we could dead zone West Russia, possibly, but then all of these units that I'm not attacking, they'd be able to go in instead. So I don't know if we'd really be able to get a dead zone there either, to be perfectly honest. So, but the good news is we don't have to make that decision until Russia's turn. We can stack either West Russia or Caucasus with just Russians. So we can wait to make that call until Russia, U.S. turn after Japan does their turn, and we can figure out what they're doing exactly. So we're going to wait and see that. So yeah, I think I'm going to build a fleet to combat him, get a transport in range of being able to grab DEI from him if he doesn't do anything else, and see if we can create some headache here, because if I can get the fleet, he's already got his boat, so unless he builds more boats, next turn I definitely will be able to dead zone 36 and 4th, and I'll have destroyers I can destroyer block, and we can start having all sorts of fun down here. So we are building 2 destroyers and a carrier. Now, the defense of him attacking me is better if I had done, instead of 2 destroyers, a fighter sub. But the problem then is I've got 2 loaded carriers and a bunch of subs. But if I need block 36, I don't have a destroyer. I'd have to use a carrier as a blocker. And I'd rather have the destroyer for a blocker. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to play this out this way. I really wish I could hit these guys with my fighters and get back here, but they can't quite get back to the C-Zone, unfortunately, so that leaves me short here. Taking this doesn't really help me. I mean, it gives me 1 IPC maybe, but with his bombers and his guys here, he'll take it right back, and so it's not preventing Germany from any money, and hopefully U.S. will get in here, and they'll be able to, U.S. will kill this guy, and then they'll be able to kill those guys on U.S. 3, So we're just going to pull back in case he does decide to come down here, stacking C-Zone 36. Is that our only attack? That might be our only attack. You know what? What if we did that? That weakens the 1-2 option. Yeah. I think I'm going to stick with leaving that in US's hands to knock out. This is important for my dead zone. I'd really like to bomb him, to be honest. But because this bomber is important for my dead zone, I don't really want to risk it. So I hate not using a bomber, but we're not going to use the bomber this turn. I think that might be our only attack. Wow, that kind of stinks. Kind of a boring turn to only attack the boat, but ooh. Dang it. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Trats. Well, that makes my dead zone go to Patui. We'll have to make the best out of it. I was counting on only losing one bomber, which I know or one fighter, which I know is ridiculous to count on that, but don't put all my eggs in one basket, I think. Because he can move one destroyer here to block the two. Don't have to worry about defending India, but I do want to be able to defend this, which he can move, what is that, 7 units into there. We got 4, plus 3 air, plus 2 air. Not ideal. I wanted one more fighter to have pressure on there. What that would boil down to is this C-zone was dead zoned if he left one battleship or 2 destroyers back to protect on any builds, or any transports or builds on the back end because of the bomber coming through. Now they can do 36 and still stack one of these C-zones, which is kind of stinky, but oh well. We'll do what we can. So this transport can grab one and then hit here. We'll have the fighters can go 1, 2, 3, 4 and bounce off onto a carrier. We'll also have the bomber that we could use for the sake of taking DEI. Different options there. There we go. All right, so we got some good news and some bad news here. So the bad news is I forgot to move my AA in there. So he crushed it and didn't lose anything. He killed all 3 infantry, no losses at all. If I'd put my AA there, would he have still done it? I don't know, but maybe we'd at least shot a plane down. So that's bad news. The other bad news is he does have all 8 fighters in the bomber in range of Caucasus, 5 of the fighters in range of West Russia. So I really can't prevent him from stacking either West Russia or Caucasus. I got to give him one of them, regardless. I really want to delay Caucasus as long as possible, so if I can prevent him from going to Caucasus, the only good news is if he goes to West Russia, these are his reinforcements, would be these guys, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys. That he'd have adding coming down to here, but that gives me 2 builds, so that hopefully there plus pouring UK up this way, we can put enough pressure there to continue to keep him from being able to get into Caucasus on G4. We'll see, because we don't have to worry about Japan putting too much pressure on India, at least, because he still only has 1 transport and no mainland factory. That's the one bonus we have, because he built battleship destroyer sub in response to my build here. So I can't 1-to-1 battle him fleet to fleet here. That's not going to happen. Japan obviously out resources and has more production spots than UK does. So I can't just keep doing that, but what I can do is I can take DEI and his transports up here so he can't take it for 2 turns. So I'll be sacrificing my transport to take it, but it keeps us in a safe spot there. So it'll get us at least 12 points value, 8 for me, 4 for him not getting, so we'll get 12 points of value out of the 7-point transport, and then trading a couple infantry for a couple infantry. So it'll be worth it in that regards, but we won't get any more out of that because it'll be easy for him to just sync with a plane. The other good news is we should be able to clean up North Africa fairly easily. The bad news is this really compounded because I held off on taking this with UK, and the fact that we had such a bad result on the, well, not such a bad result, but lost two planes to the battleship, makes everything much more weak in general. Because we lost those two U.S. guys, now U.S. can't take Caucasus, so I can't even build on Caucasus on Russia's turn, so I can only stack it with what I have here, plus I can't land the Russian fighters there. So even turning to a Caucasus stack at this point is very questionable. But I think that's what I'm going to have to do because, unfortunately, I cannot even stack West Russia another turn. Again, because of this. Whereas if U.S. had taken this and I just stacked West Russia, I could stack just barely, but I could just stack West Russia versus Germany while trying to dead zone Caucasus. But now I cannot keep the Russians in West Russia. So we're going to very loosely stack Caucasus on their turn. What this means is Japan's going to be slow getting ground here. I need to kill off ground when and where I can, so I will be looking at that. Including making this as iffy as possible, make them send fighters up this way. But we need to get to trading on Germany as fast as possible. With all his units up here, we need to get them pulled back, so we need to get transports built fast. And that's part of the headache with the delayed UK. But we're going to bring our US fleet to here, and then probably to 6 on the next turn. So I'm going to bring all my transports in and be able to move one of them from here on into 6 to take Norway. So we'll still get Norway on US 3 hopefully, and we'll be able to hopefully build the UK fleet here. He's got his 6, 7, 8, but we'll be bringing in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus what UK can build there. So hopefully we should be doing okay there. Meanwhile, this UK fleet is going to be able to take here and then retreat back to one of these two sea zones, and then potentially help with the med to let the U.S. get in there the next round as the rest of the U.S. fleet comes up. And that way the U.S. can then do a switch, get the U.K. around, and eventually get U.K. fleet up to where it needs to be with these guys. So our playing around here ended up being a negative, and us forgetting the AA and having to take Caucasus with Russia was a mistake. That was a blunder by me. So this was definitely a blundered turn by me. But I think building a battleship anytime by Japan, especially when not even facing a KJF, is a mistake. So I did at least get them to buy something not super practical, I feel like. But now we got to make something happen with that. So with that being said, our goal is going to be getting as many transports up as fast as possible. So I'm focusing transports. We're building 3 loaded transports. We'll have 1 load of units still left on the US for one of these to come back to C-Zone 10. That come to 13. Like I said, one's going to go to 6, one's going to go to 10. We got 3 of them. One can go back to 11, or maybe one will go into the med shuck if we decide to go that route, although I don't know that we're going to be able to go that way yet. So it may be 10, 11, and 6 is where these 3 transports are going to be going to. In this case, I'm going to risk my air. I don't know. We decide we're just going to go all in there. We can't even bomb here because that doesn't get us anywhere. Ah, here we're going to have another wasted bomber. We're not staying there. We need all our infantry going down. No point hitting there because we're going to have 3 infantry coming, or 2 infantry at least coming back with 2 fighters. We'll get our 2 hits. No reason bombing Italy. No reason bombing Caucasus. Yeah, just not gonna have anything for him to do. So yeah, I think that's all we got, unfortunately. Gosh, this stinks. Guess I could have used a bomber to help hit this, but then I would have been landing on Gibraltar, I believe. There we go, good. Boo. I'm going to fly this fighter up here so that we can move one more up this way. Reason I'm choosing there is because you can get to Moscow next turn, and we're getting iffy already with all this J air. It doesn't take much. So I like him going up that way. And bringing everybody on. Oop, we don't need the sub. We can send the sub back. He's not really going to do much good up this way. And they do have a... Oh no, they don't have a transport. So there is no threat there, actually. You know what? One, two, three, four, five, six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So can hit either point from there. There we go. So that gives us 8 units here that can be loading in 10. Granted, if he moves his bombers to the west coast here, we have to protect it, but we could also go up to 1. But anyways, so we got 3, so we only have 1 other transport trying to get back there. And like I said, 1's gonna go here, 1 can go there, and 1 go to 11, or if we have to, they'll both come down here if the bomber goes over here and we don't have anything to spare to go back to cover there. But I think we will, between all this and this coming back, I think we'll be able to bounce somebody back to Sea Zone 10. We need everything we can. We're going to have to be holding on for Russia, unfortunately. So we got 25 going in. We need one. That's right. We need one to stay back to block the blitz. I almost goofed that up. So one staying back. So we got 24 going in. 23 surviving. Gives me them a negative attack no matter what they do. 24 is really good. 22, it's an even split that he may take that risk and just start pounding. Okay, I was feeling good about this. I didn't need to send 3. Do your job. Thank you. Good gracious, that was way harder than it needed to be. Alright, big one. No losses, no losses. Pig whiff, pig whiff. Alright, good. Not that it's good. He's going to be able to stack West Russia and then come down there, but it buys me one more turn to try to build up enough 1-2 punch to keep him out of Caucasus, because we really don't want G stacking Caucasus. I can do that to try and plug up what we can up there. And there we go. Alright, so this turn took a little bit of extra preparation. There's some complex things going on here, so I'm going to kind of talk this through a little bit, and I might change my mind as I talk it through for that matter. So first off, recap of Germany's turn. They finally went heavy ground, so they got their 14 infantry, 1 artillery. Took West Russia, which didn't surprise me. This was a not a favorable attack, whereas he can most likely, I'll say, stack here in West Russia. And then he attacked Arch with 1 infantry and a bunch of air. Thankfully, we had 2 infantry there that both got killed, but at least they got them hit back so that Germany didn't get the territory. So that's a nice little keeper. So that was their turn, and as you can see, they kind of repositioned. I'm not sure bombers here specifically. It may have been because of the attacking Arch, I guess, that they needed to get him out of range of my bomber here. I guess that's what he was doing, because if putting in here would have been in range, but they could put the fighters. I don't know. Anyways, their air is here in Baltic, and the bombers are not on this coast, which gives me freedom on 10. I think they forgot to move their sub because my U.S. fleet can and will hit them there. Not really sure, but I plan to take a transport to Norway like we talked about. Depending on what Japan does, so I'm planning ahead. When you do UK, you really got to plan the whole next turn. That when you're doing a KGF, which I'm going to explain here in a minute, I'm going to consider this more of a 2-ocean attack, but Indian Ocean. But when you do a KGF, you really do got to kind of plan on UK, what you're doing for US and Russia as well. And so that's what we are going to plan on. So that's why I'm discussing what US's plans are. But this fleet going to Sea Zone 6, this fleet coming to 13, ready to go into here. Sea Zone 6, that's going to give me 2 destroyers, cruiser, 2 fighters, and a carrier. That's 6 units going here. He's going to have 7 strong air that could hit it. I am going to, and possibly he could get a hit back with the sub. That would not be pleasing if he gets a hit back with the sub, even with the fact that I do plan on dropping a destroyer from UK here just to add to that. So that's the US going there and then coming into here. These guys, we can go up to 10. We don't really need to bring them down to 13 so much because we're going to have these guys going forward most likely. However, there is also the possibility that depending on Japan's move, I might, like I said, sacrifice a transport with a bomber coming and hitting here. so that we can keep this canal open for UK to escape based off of Japan's turn. So one of the key things that I did, and I'm going to actually pull on some calculators here to show as well, is taking a look at Russia attacking West Russia on round 4. And even doing this, I'm going to switch this up real quick. So right now, with no Japan air in there, this is the battle he's giving me. Obviously, he does not want to give me a 70%, 20% attack profit battle. If he lands 1 Japan air there, it's still giving me a 60% profit battle. And if you remember the board, he doesn't have a ton of recruits behind them, and US is going to start landing pretty quickly here. 2 Japan fighters is where he gets to a safety valve of a net profit for me and a less than 50% shot. So he wants to get at least 2 Japan fighters to West Russia so that I don't crush him. I even had the opportunity of 2 US fighters and a bomber to kamikaze into it if I really want to, or even, no, that guy can't reach, to weaken just a little bit, hopefully 1 or 2 hits for Russia if I really feel like I need to. So that's one of the things I got to keep in mind. So 2 fighters need to be dedicated there. So he's got 8 fighters and 1 bomber. So that leaves him 6 fighters and 1 bomber to use over in this theater. Now, things to note. He's got 2 ground units, 2 infantry. These fighters could come over here and help so that he can clean this up. If he leaves one of these open, then of course my bombers are sitting here where they could go through 60, C-zone 60, 62. If he builds transports, I'll have to protect that. He probably can. He's got a lot of boats now with 3 battleships in there. So that's not super critical. So he's either just going to take 1, which is most likely the case, I would think. And then let the other one, maybe I come in, get a point out of it, but then he comes back and goes that way and whatnot. So we're doing a good job at least slowing him up here is the point of that. He probably does not need to use the air there. We're going to take DEI, and we're going to take it relatively comfortably, as I'm going to explain here in a second. We're going to use 3 fighters, a bomber, and 2 infantry to take it. And we're going to leave our transport hanging there. That then is going to hopefully take that pretty convincingly. I'm going to land the 1 bomber over here where he's not in threat, but now he could threaten either these 2 islands if he doesn't take the transport out, which one thing to note is his transport's up here, so he can't even take it this turn. So that's kind of cool. But so he would need to, I'm going to have a destroyer blocker here, which I'll explain in a minute. So he can't do it with a boat, so he'd have to use one of his planes. So that would take him down to 5 fighters and a bomber free. So that then takes us to the next calculator I'm going to show. And this is the India Sea Zone battle I'm going to offer him. I'm going to build a fighter so that I'll have two loaded carriers with a destroyer. Remember, we had him down to 6 fighters and 1 bomber max he can use, or he's going to let me crush his Germans. So that's what I'm offering him. This is a case, you've seen a lot that I do use fighters first a lot, but in this case, I will put carriers first because the carriers aren't as important to me as the fighters in this whole game, because the fighters can get back to the middle of the land. The carriers are more here to disrupt Japan, and I'm going to make him go all out if he wants to kill the transport that I'm building in Sea Zone 36 or 35 as well. So we're going to have a transport here and a transport here. So if he doesn't kill this transport, then I'm going to have a transport that could take an infantry tank to C-Zone 47, and I'm going to have a transport here that could grab infantry here and take here with a bomber support. So we could end up eating up a lot of his islands if he's not real careful here. So he could take that shot, and if he does, then he's going to chew up a lot of his air, which is fine by me because he's got to get all the way down to the transport. He's going to have to kill the destroyer here, which I imagine he'll use a battleship and mass fleet down to 36, because he still have that extra fleet that he could protect 61 or 62 wherever he wants his transport, if he wants to shuck down here, or if he wants to build transports up there. He'll still have plenty to protect them from my 2 bombers as well. So, or 1 bomber, because the other bomber's going to be down here anyways. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I guess I could still get to this C-Zone if he doesn't take both those. So the point of all this is to show that I'm really going to stretch out what he can do in here. I'm building, as I alluded to, I'm going to be building a tank here, and this is the last calculator of what I had to put into this whole turn, considering is, okay, what if he plays a conservative here, he sends his fighters over here, last calculator here for this turn, sends his fighters over here, plays it safe over here, prepares to take DEI next turn to retake DEI, and then he's hoping for G4 supported by J4 air to come into Caucasus. That's what he's shooting for. So I'm going to plan, I've got 21 IPC for Russia, so I'm going to think about a 3 infantry, 3 artillery build to join my troops that are here, and that'll lead to, with a tank build with UK here, this kind of deal in Caucasus of just everything getting murdered. I mean, throwing everything in. So this is the UK going in for a 1 round hit, save a little bit of the bombers possibly. US kamikazeing Russia going into it. Him moving his Germans, moving all the Japan air into there. We've got a 70% chance to clear at a negative 37 overall IPC. And to clear all the J air and all of the Russian ground while the U.S. is spinning up at a cost of 37, it might be worth it. I don't know. We'll see if he's willing to take that risk. We'll see if I'm willing to take this risk. I honestly don't know yet. But to make that happen, the fighter bomber build here is what's adding 2 extra units. We're only going to have 4 infantry because 1 going here, 1 going here, so only 1. I actually didn't even want that one. We'd be down to 3. I'll think that out when we get to non-combat. Because I got to use 1 infantry to kill this tank with a bomber. And this infantry, I do need to kill this infantry because otherwise he does have 1 infantry followed by 1, 2, 3, these 6. So he'd have 7 units that he could attack here. And I'm not going to have very much ground here at all because I'm having him sit over here. So it's important that I do kill that infantry. He does not have a transport that could come into here, so then I don't need anything here. He will have his 6 air that could hit. I suppose he could airstrike the U.S. fighter here, the infantry tank that I leave there. Maybe worth him to consider, I suppose. Guess it makes me think twice about where I put my 2nd bomber. Do I want to put my 2nd bomber there or not? We'll have to figure all that out on non-combat because I'm just going to commit myself to this anyways, of buying 1 tank, 1 transport, 1 destroyer. Committing myself more to it just because it may not be the best play. I'll be honest, it may not be the best play. He's made some plays here that, like building a battleship there, is a little confusing to me, and some of the placements he's done that I
probably could just play this easy and conservatively, and I think I could probably pull back this into a win condition. But this just feels fun, and I want to play fun because I'm not playing ranked for trying to get to best rank. I'm building the destroyer, like I said, actually for over here. Fighter, transport, and tank are going to go into India. Is that how I want to do it? I think that is how I want to do it. If we can at least clear this, it does no, just to take the tank out of the picture. I guess he could push these guys into here too. That'll make a mess for Caucasus, I guess. We'd be able to clear them, but then we definitely would be conceding Caucasus because we wouldn't be able to attack there. That'd be an interesting move. So Caucasus, yeah, we may not be able to dead zone Caucasus, unfortunately. He may get Caucasus G4, but hopefully we start landing very fast. Again, we're going to have 7 transports. I plan on building 2 and then a transport and a Norway. So by end of US 4, I plan to have 10 transports in a factory up and running and hitting them. So hopefully we're good there. So part of what I was talking about before with the US here is if he comes down to 36 like he wants, it'd be nice just to be able to retreat back to 17 and then into 15. Potentially, depending on how he positions everything, I could potentially just come back to 34 and retake Egypt if I let them live, and then go to 15. But if Japan positions in a way that I can't safely sit in 34, then I need to be able to go through the Suez on UK4, in which case I'd sacrifice the U.S. transport to hit those guys to make sure he doesn't take Egypt. So, all right, like I said, a lot going on there. All right, no emotional support fighters that time. And whew, didn't have to sacrifice any air to take East Indies. Good deal. This is bad. I got to press on. I got to kill him. Whiff. Whew. Okay, I ain't gonna lie. That scared me a little bit. Oh, shoot. Can I still get over to the Australia going that way? I kind of changed my 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, yeah, we can still get over there. Who needs a bomber? I really wish I'd remembered to put my AAA in there. It would have been a much different situation if I'd remembered my stinking AAA. Okay, so like I said, we're going to bring him over here so that we can threaten these. We need to put a destroyer to block him hitting them there or hitting my transport with anything but an air. We're going to go ahead and tuck everybody in because I kind of regretted not having them tucked in there. Bring the fighters back. I really do need, that's going to Well, you know what? Oh, man. That definitely gives him a nice strafing air shot there. If I drop the tank there and takes the whole point of my transport out for the most part. Now, again, he did do that with one less. Well, no, he could still. Yeah, so 2 of these are the ones that have to go here. These guys, 1, 2, 3. Oh, well, they could land back here because I didn't take that. Dang it. So they're all still available. So he's got 6, 1 hitting here. So 5 fighters and a bomber he could smack this guy with. So that being said, I think we're safer putting the bomber back here. All right, so that one infantry doesn't improve the odds significantly, change the odds very much for that Caucasus dead zone. But having him back here in India with the tank and an AA, and I don't need the AA in there anymore because that ruined my chance to use it the way I wanted to. Gives me there. 1, 2, 3, 4. The question is, do I think he can, but I would rather keep his boats back that way. So if I leave the bomber here, he can pretty comfortably stack 36 and 62. If he brought his transport down to 36 with a bunch of boats, he could still easily put something in 62 to prevent me from there. So I'd prefer him to have to do that, which 1, 2, 3. Well, I guess I could now think about it, I would have these 4 fighters here that can do the kamikaze, send the destroyer into there, send the 4 fighters if I really wanted to. So we're going to leave the bomber back here just to be safe from the 6 airplane airstrike he could do here. We do, like I said, I want to switch back over to my normal. We don't need to be in submerge either, so let's just get to our normal. Does the United States still need to be submerging? So often I forget about he's still loose, so we'll leave him submerging. All right. Wish I would have taken that. That would have made things a little more comfortable, but he can't strike India directly at all, so that's a good this turn. So if he comes down 36 with his transport and brings these guys in, and now he can put his fighters there too, so all my air is kind of pointless. Because before I would have had the infantry tank and 2 tanks and all that air that could hit what he put there, but now he can drop all his fighters there too. So unfortunately, he can stack there and put pretty heavy pressure on India, even with just 1 transport, simply because of all his air. Even when they're over here, they'll still be putting pressure there, right? So he's going to have 9 air and 5 ground, so 14 units he could put pressure in there, plus be doing all the stuff here, so I'd have to decide India or attack here. We'd have... we could probably defend India. Well, we certainly could with the air that we have sitting here. We could defend India, but we wouldn't be able to dead zone Caucasus then. So it's amazing how strong. I know this is a debate kind of going to Discord right now, and I don't know how I feel about this exactly, but all this Japan air early, even though he's only got 1 transport, to me that's just so weak because
the ground's so low. But and I'm getting some counters here, but this Japan air is going to be annoying. Plus, once he gets established and I back out, all that J air is going to come over here and, limit my shucking over here, which is why this is going to be nice that I have 2 carriers here and US has 2 carriers. So despite them having 7 German planes and 9 Japan planes, we should still be able to get at least a 2 out of 3, between Finland, 8 or 5, and the Med Shuck. Hopefully we should be able to keep 2 of those 3 at the very least, if not all 3. All right. I think that's it for the non-combat. We did put the blocker in. Yep. Okay. So like I said, now the transport, if he doesn't use one of his air on this transport, and all I have is a transport live, I will have a transport that can go through C-Zone 37 to DEI. Now he could hit here and then non-combat through here to block that move too, if he thinks about it. But otherwise, we'll be threatening there. This guy can grab here, here, and there. So we could actually threaten 2 islands here if he's not careful. Drop the destroyer on his sub. Call it a turn. So although UK is slow developing here, we are getting pretty quick development of our transports. We're not sacrificing one, so that is going to help us get to our 10 transports quicker. And the UK hopefully is going to slow him down in this range, down in this area. So continuing on to US 3. First I'll just go through what they did. So they built 2 complexes and put them down here in the corner of the map. So he's going to start adding 4 units a turn through here. He's still got nothing that he's shucking. So this is unfortunate that he could just have nothing sitting back on the main island. That's whatever. But this heavy air, and like I said, I've kind of figured he'd come down this way and put some pressure on these guys, and whatever down here. We'll see what the next turn brings. I'm pretty sure we can defend India pretty well. I'm actually thinking about going ahead and landing my U.S. planes down here for the turn, because I think Russia can still stack itself with my 3-3 build. They can still stack for themselves. Actually, no. As I think about it, I'm gonna airstrike this guy. I'm gonna try to make the calculator look as scary as possible in Caucasus. If I was him in this position, I'd push forward with stacking Caucasus. But maybe, just maybe, we can convince him not to. Unfortunately, I did mix some things that I didn't think about with UK that I wish I had. One being, I put my bomber over here in my greed, forgetting that I was counting on that bomber being able to hit Caucasus. Now, obviously, he can't. So that was a mistake. And also, by doing this, it didn't let me keep all 6 planes pressuring West Russia. So he still could easily put those 3 guys on top of them, and then West Russia would be safe from, the J Air Force would be safe from a strike there. I didn't do the math. Be
but yeah, no, striking here. I just trying to see where we could possibly take out some of the Japan reinforcements, but I just don't see that there's anything we can do. So he's going to get Caucasus G4. I feel this game, the Japan play was too different for me, and I didn't adjust very well. And just getting greedy, wanting to do this, probably was not the smart thing. I should have sat and thought it through more instead of thinking for fun. But I play the game for fun. I'm playing ranked for fun. It produces an interesting thing. It's hard to believe Japan has so few units on the board here, but yet has so much money still coming in, even with me taking this guy. Now, he's only got one transport, so right now, I mean, this is U.S. turn, so we'll see on UK turn, but I still think I'm going to go ahead and take Borneo and still stack this. I'm thinking in it. I really want this to last through until Japan 6. I need it to last through Japan 5. 4 certainly won't be a problem. I'm not really sure what 5 is going to bring. It's going to kind of depend on moving these guys in, what he builds here, whatnot. And the reason being, Japan takes this 5, and then the boats transports are threatening into Egypt in 6. And I'm going to go ahead and bring another load down here to North Africa on 3, US 4, US 5, US 6. They take India in J6 is my goal. Then they're hitting their J7, so that'll give me 2 AAs and a load of troops, hopefully be able to land in there, and that'll stop, hopefully, one of these guys and some air, and hopefully we can start them bleeding down this way. But we really got to get pressure on Europe. This is the stinky part, is we really don't got much pressure here. I do think because he did bring everything up here and the positioning, I can't really back into here with a destroyer blocker because I just have my 6. And he's got 3 air that can go 1, 2, 3, 4. They could land on a built carrier for that matter, and these 2 carriers could catch 4 more air plus the bomber. So really, he can do 7 fighters and a bomber hitting this area versus my 6. Plus, I might need these fighters for defense in here. So this is going to be a retreat. Whether we retreat here or retreat here, I don't even know if we can retreat here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we could retreat there. Either one of these retreats. We're probably talking about 2 carriers because we're probably still going to want the destroyer blocker. Maybe build a destroyer back. So maybe we had 2 carriers and destroyer back. That's 3. He's got 3 fighters, so we'd really need one of the fighters to stay with him too if we go retreating this way. So I'm kind of leaning toward retreating this way where he's got 2 bombers. Yes, he could theoretically go 1, 2, 3, 4 and build a carrier, but that would be kind of silly considering I'll have a fleet sitting right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, so the bomber and 3 fighters. So we're still dealing with 4 hitting us. But the more we pull them this way, I don't know. We'll figure this out. That's a UK problem. So, yeah, we'll figure out what UK does on UK's turn. I don't even know what UK is going to do yet. It's just very attractive until he's got 1 transport to take over the second island, 2 by transporting over there. I will say that. I'm not sure I want to leave my bomber hanging here, so I'm probably going to take the tank over that way. Kind of wish I would have left the artillery back, but then I wouldn't be helping my dead zone there anymore. But the artillery back and the bomber up would have been better than what I did here. Anyways, that's a lot of talking. I should just left the bomber over here and left everything as it is. Then I've done a better shot. So, all said and done, as I'd alluded to before, we really need to get just transports and getting units into Europe and Africa, unfortunately, fast. So we're going to look at 3 transports, 6 infantry for the U.S. build here, max build. But what I was saying with all that is I've decided I am going to go ahead and sacrifice a transport this way, just so that we can guarantee an escape route this way to 17, because I think that's where I want my UK fleet to go, is to in here to 17. Oh, that changes my play that I was going to do there, though. Do we trust taking it with 1 fighter? This is what I get for not thinking things all the way through. We are going to commit all in here. And we need both our fighters there to do that. I wanted to airstrike that guy, but I wanted to do a fighter-bomber airstrike on him. Impress my luck, but I also wanted the bomber to hit down here. So to get counting the bomber for 2 spots. I mean, I could do an infantry airstrike, I guess. Not as good as just a pure airstrike, but it protects me some, I guess. And I'd be losing 1 attack power, killing 2 defense power at least. Or strength. Yeah, power. Excuse me. 3 strength, 4 defense strength. But yeah, I think I want to make sure we just clear these guys. I don't think infantry artillery fighter versus infantry artillery is good enough for me. Could use the 2 fighters to clear him out. Although I think we're thinking about stack hitting that. So I'd rather if he gets a defensive hit to be on an infantry than our fighter. So I think we're going to stack shift there and stack here still. So I think we'll just leave that as is. But if we don't got other plans for him, we could do this. It's risky. But that does, if it's successful, it gives us options. Yeah, I think we're gonna go for it. I'm feeling like I need to be risky here. I'm feeling behind in this game, which is just crazy because Japan's so small. I just haven't got enough pressure over here, and they're just Germany's gonna get bigger when he takes Caucasus, and I'm not even gonna be able to really hit Karelia, so he's gonna be able to redefend Karelia. So I need to take risks to try to just everything I can to dissuade him from Caucasus.
Oh, kidding me. Oh, good gracious. That leaves this fleet out. I was counting on not getting a one hit back. That makes this fleet very vulnerable. It was already vulnerable to a 1-2 with Japan here, but now it's vulnerable, very vulnerable, with his 7 planes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's only one transport, but he can take that shot and just slow everything else down that direction too. Son of an ungrateful ant. Well. I can't believe this Japan play is killing me. I'm gonna definitely have to think back on what did I do in this game that I could have done differently. Should just play conservatively, block them from. Dang it. Tried. Well. My positioning screwed things up. My lack of AA and causes screwed things up. So part of it's me making some silly mistakes, but good gosh, I just don't feel like this should be. I shouldn't be in the position I'm in. So kudos to Cheap Tent. He's done a good job here. I just don't think there's going to be enough reward. I don't think there's going to be anything existing here to go here to defend C-Zone 3 next turn, so I think we prep our defenses here. Heck, for that matter. I think we might as well get somebody in the southern aspect. Hopefully that chews in on heavy into his Air Force if he chooses to attack it, though, so. Golly. This is what I get for taking the game too lightly, I guess. I just really don't feel like I should be in the position I'm in. Oh, I guess that was kind of a waste now since he hit the bomber. Well, the bomber wasn't really part of it necessarily. Let me go look at my caucus choices real quick. Yeah, I forgot. Actually, the U.S. isn't really part of the equation on the Caucasus because it was just air and it was only going to take out like 2 units. So, so we still got it if a questionable dead zone there. If this bomber had been up here, it would have been much nicer sitting looking, but still would have been questionable to be honest. So either way, it's still questionable. I'll put the calculator up here after we see and make sure we don't get a hit back hopefully this time. And I'll put it up here and let you guys throw in your feedback on what you think. Should I take the Caucasus fight assuming he gives it to me? Whiff. Nice. All right, good. Yeah. I'll finish up the turn and I'll pull the calculator up. I'll be interested to see what y'all's thoughts are. Don't worry, by the time you actually see this turn will probably have already happened in all likelihood. So you're not going to be, influencing the game
through that way. Getting a little ahead of myself. I want one of these AAs for Japan to think about too. I know I'm giving him these for free, but I needed to turtle as much as I can and still have as much pressure on here as I could. So that was my choice. All right, so this is what the whole Caucasus, where he can move Germans in. I could strike with UK for a 1 round, and then he flies in his 9 planes, and then I have the Russians that can attack that. The things to think about, and the reason I think I will take that battle, despite what you're going to see, is he's got so few units here. Now, he'll get India, likely, in that scenario, I'm guessing. Yeah, most likely he'd get India in that scenario. But he's got so few J units, and if 50-50 we clear these out, he's got a weakness. He's got a turn, 2 turns that I'd have to rebuild that, and then hopefully get these US guys landing and UK starting to land up here. So here we go. Here's the calculator. Think about it. Think about the whole position and what it would mean. Oh, that's not the right one. That's him attacking Kazan. That's not even with my 4th tank there. So Kazan should be fine. No, that's Moscow. Here it is. This is the one I wanted. So this is his Germans entering, UK striking 1 round, Japan entering, Russia coming in. So in the, I got to take that bomber out, sorry. So in the end, it's a 50-50 overall that I wipe everything out at a negative 21 IPC value. So it's costly. It certainly is costly. But think about the position of letting Germany sit stacked in here. Within getting this back, and if we can hold it for a turn or 2, that's going to start paying itself back quickly. Plus being able to put pressure back into this direction. And them not able to come back and stack Karelia real easily. Well, they probably will for a little bit, but we'll be getting pressure up there. I just, that's saying that all their Japan air would be off the picture. So I feel like that's a shot I will take if he gives it to me in this game. Just weird. It's not often are you going to look at a negative IPC overall result and go, you know what? That may not be good, but that's the difference between him stacking. So every German turn he'd have, it's going to be worth 4 for every other German turn right off the bat. So the difference between him stacking Caucasus and then being able to play out, he'll be able to leak here, he'll be able to leak tanks out this way. He can airstrike with Japan. Any UK units I put in here, and I don't have any Germans or US or Russian to put in there, so then he could airstrike anything I put in there and then blitz his tanks to take India, or he can just take India from this route, and then it's going into Africa. So even though it's a 21 loss value, if we succeed in killing all his units there, even with murdering all my units, I think it'd be worth it. That's if we get the 50-50 result. That's the other part of it, right? Never can guarantee you get the 50-50 result. Okay, so this is going to be a super fast turn. I've got to leave for work in 5 minutes. I had to wake up. I forgot I had to go to work 2 hours early. So this is really early in the morning. This is not going to be well thought out. I'm buying infantry, 2 tanks, transport, destroyer. That's the plan. I'm sure I'm going to screw something up really bad right now, but he did not stack this turn. I can't see how I cannot block it next turn. I don't think, even with everything coming in,
because he's got 5 more of these guys coming in, and he brought more guys down. So I just don't see that I can even stop it then. So we're just not going to try. He's going to get G5 Caucasus, and we're just going to have to hope that we land fast enough that we got to pull them back out of Caucasus fairly quickly. And we're going to defend India for now, at least. I'm sure with these factories it'll get hard, and with him plugging up here, but maybe some of these guys will start marching over. Anywho, 1, 2. So this guy, I want the bomber here, and I'm going to move these guys over so that if he uses 1 transport to come here, we can do 3 infantry and a bomber hit. I need 1, maybe 2 fighters with me. I need to double check that India shot real quick. What do we got going there? I'll have 2 infantry, 8, 1. We're dropping. We're going to have 3 infantry, artillery. Dropping a couple tanks there. We're leaving the destroyer blocker. Let's see if we leave 2 planes. Yep, alright, that's it. We gotta go. Should have left the tank back home. If I knew the infantry was gonna hit. Yay. Come on. Trying to leave my tank so I can get him through later if I don't need him. So
2. We got 1 and 1 going. 1 and 1, 2, 1, 2. 3 fighters, 2. Protect him from the whole air striking these guys, so we're going to give the Japan Air a shot at them. See if he takes it. Leave the destroyer. Sure, I goofed something up, but I have got to run. I'm already late. .30. All right, there we go. All right, once again, I'm forced into taking a fast turn here. I haven't thought this super through. The quick news of it is he did filter back. He's got some weird placements. I'm not sure what the carrier here is doing. Did he attack? Season 35 with a destroyer. He attacked it with a sub, so I'm not sure why he moved his carrier fighter there when I got 2 subs here. So these 2 subs will go down in glory, taking out a carrier. So yeah, I'm not real sure what the reasoning behind that was, unless he accidentally used a fighter that had to land there. It's the only thing I can think of. So that's nice. I'll take out a carrier. Taking out a carrier takes out 2 planes. 2 of the planes he has, so he has 4 here going 1, 2, 3, 4 landing here, but he'll only have 1 carrier left. So that'll help ease the pressure on India a little bit for next turn. And again, it's going to start mounting quickly as he did build 2 transports, getting ready to set up the shuck. He's only got 2 here, so he's probably grabbing the Philippines this turn. You know, and so this pressure is going to start building up kind of quick now, and we won't be able to help through this route, and UK will be building by themselves, other than fighters, of course. UK is going to be building up by themselves for the most part. We'll be marching. We got some US marching, but yeah, we're not going to get but so far. Again, the problem is Germany's going to land here, so I won't be able to abandon India without just giving the units to be crushed, or I sit here and let Japan crush them, which is probably what I'll do. Make Japan use as much resources as possible since they're already low on resources in general. So, any case, U.S. turn. Here we go. Buying 8 infantry, a tank. Of course, he also has Alaska in his sights, so I'm not going to have that much of a defense other than I do have the infantry tank. I had 6 extra to spend, and I just got a feeling I'm probably going to need to blitz across Africa at some point to help things out. So we're just throwing a tank in because I had the extra. It's actually going to go on the west coast. I actually don't need it for my shucking because, again, counting my guys, this transport's going to be there, this transport's going to be there, so we need, oh yeah, I also got a factory going. So we're going to need 4 guys for them. So there's 4 to be built. And we're sending 2 guys, 2 transports into the med, this transport coming back, so that's 4 transports that need to be there. We do need to be careful. He has his bombers here in France, so I got to make sure that we don't park transports here. We got to move them on up to 1, which is fine for right now. When these guys get into play in the theater, we'll be able to adjust things around, and we'll get that recovered because I tend to be able to threaten the France landing, of course. That might. Oh, well, that's not our only attack. Oh, nope, I don't want all of them. Only 1 transport, please. Now, normally I like to trade heavy, whatnot, But that leaves me with 4 ground on here for the 2 transports next turn, so I don't have to drop any transports in 13 this turn. And we can get more shucking over that this turn, this way. And then we can get the figured out all our Navy. That buys us a turn to figure out the Navy. India should be good here on their own, so I am going to bring this fighter either up or over. I got to do the calculations on Moscow real quick to see what we need there and what Russia can do, possibly stacking here and here and here while still stacking up here. I want to make Japan pay for being so thin threshold. So probably actually moving him here to help free up some more Russian units. Thank you. Always hate to see a battleship miss. How many do I need here? 4, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'll have 4 fighters that can reach. Just bombers or bomber over here. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4 fighters and a bomber can reach here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can save one of my destroyers back. Because we definitely want... Now, he could send a tank here. More power to him. I'd be happy to have him for me to crush with those guys. We do need to protect this fleet from 2 fighters, 2 bombers. I only need to protect it loosely. 2 cruisers, 2 destroyers. What's that look like? I think that should be all right, honestly. 70%. Fighters. He only has 4 fighters that can reach it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they can't reach. Yeah, honestly, I don't need either destroyer to go in there. Against 4 fighters and a bomber. That's assuming I take out this carrier, though. I can definitely put one of them here. Do that. Then I got a carrier, 2 fighters. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, he could do what we just talked about. You know what? Let's do that. That way, so the whole reasoning for that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so even this bomber can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and land somewhere here. These 4 fighters could go 1, 2, 3 and land here. That'd be costly, but if I only had a carrier with my couple transports, it's only 1 transport. But nonetheless, these guys are good for this turn. And then I can always throw a carrier in there. Or well, I probably will throw the 2 carriers in here for a turn to get them to here and out and shift some of these guys around. So I'm okay with all of that. This makes me feel a little bit more safer. So that has cruiser, 2 destroyers. This has a carrier destroyer. This has battleship carrier. I think I'm okay with all of that. Okay. Okay, and again, going kind of quick, but we're going to do 5 infantry, artillery. I'm conceding Caucasus. Technically, I could get it 50-50, but it'd be like negative 50 IPC value for me to hit. We're just going to have to plan accordingly. We need to get pressure here fast to make him have to pull back out of here after just a couple turns. That's what has to happen. We have to do that before Japan gets up here strong and gets stacked next to Moscow. So we'll use our fighters on those ones. We can go back that way. I could hit these, but they aren't going to give me a lot of value. And it'd actually take a fair amount to stack here, because he'd have infantry, artillery, tank. So 3, plus these 2 air, and those 4 air. So that would be 9 units I could hit here, and it's not worth trying to stack that. And it's not worth taking, because I don't really get anything back out of it, other than decreasing his units, but I'm kind of short on attacking units, so I don't think I want to do that. But this is going to give us tanks here, with this guy's going to presumably go there, meaning he'll only have 1 guy here. I'll have a fighter and fighters. I could clear him, then I can blitz a tank through if I want to, or 2 or 4 tanks through, with him only having 1 guy sitting back here. So hopefully we can create a little more chaos up on the top side to draw troops away from India is the idea. That gives me 34, 36, plus whatever I'm building here, 42, 28, 36, 42. I think that's plenty. That should be more than enough. He's got, what, 34, 37, 39. So yeah, that should be plenty to hold. We may need to do our counts after this with the air and add a couple to these, or actually just move the AAs into those. We'll see. Don't normally do this many trades with Russia, but the Japan side, he's not going to really be able to trade back. That's what I'm looking at. Good. That was the key part, get the hit. Nice. I need to, real quick, I'm going to do some calculation on what these look like versus any attacks. The other thing that we do have in our playbook is UK is going to go, and I didn't really think about this, but we can use our fighters and or our tank to clear out these guys from with using UK as well. just to use up their units. I don't know that a tank to use up their units just to draw him that way is really going to be that helpful. But we certainly could use our fighters, bombers, potentially to pick off these guys if we want to, and then land them into these spots. And so I don't have to worry about them, potentially. So I think for now, we're just going to do this kind of thing. And just see what it is if I don't pick them off. 5 fighters and a bomber that can reach there. Yeah. Let's double check this again real fast. My count should be fine even with taking all of them out. We're going to have 2732. We're going to have the 8 plus 1 is 9 artillery. We're going to have our 3 fighters. That gives us 44. Yeah, we should be fine. Yeah. Let me put an extra one here just to be ready to actually make a push and a sink. And here to stack. The most he's going to be able to bring those 2. We're going to be hitting there, hitting there. Yeah, I think I'm going to go that route. Okay, so another quick turn. Germany, what did Germany do? They bought 7 infantry, 3 artillery, and a fighter. So they added a fighter to their repertoire, so we got to be mindful of that. Of course, he went to Caucasus, as you can see. He did take Finland. What did he do? 2 infantry, 2 fighters, 2 bombers. I forget what I had up there. Arch, Southern Europe, Italy. He kind of took them. Looks like he took them without much losses. 1 infantry, none. 1 loss in Arch. He did lose 1 in there, but killed 3 of mine, unfortunately. So he's willing to take the heavy attacks up there with air if we don't have other targets for him, which unfortunately we're not giving him other targets, so he's going to be able to do that again. So obviously the big deal here is Caucasus. The big deal on top of that is I'm going to leave an infantry here, but then Jay can airstrike that infantry, and then he can be threatening to blitz his tanks straight to India. Now, there's pros and cons to that, because then we could potentially cut him off and split him in 2. I've done that before, but I'd rather not, if possible. So it's kind of good that we have all this Russian here with 2 tanks here, that if I need to, I can always hit Kaza, blitz a tank, non-combat move through to Persia to block then the Germans from doing that. So I think I'm actually going to leave no, I don't want to leave the AA there, because then the Germans will kill it when it's their turn. I am going to go ahead and blitz this tank through here, I think, and that will give me opportunities for air to do a long reach hit and do some stuff with. We do need to take this so that his 4 fighters and his bomber can't reach my fleet up here, because I'm planning on dropping things down here. I'm building transports, excuse me, my brain. I had to decide between getting a couple transports up and running for UK or dropping down here to be able to drop some transports to bring more units for these guys. I've decided to build more transports here, and then we'll figure out what we want to do with the US when it's US's turn. We could come up into here. Yeah, we wouldn't need to. I mean, we're going to have to stay in 15. But whether we use all the units or not, I don't know yet. The biggest thing I'm debating is 2 bombers on those 2 infantry. It doesn't stop him because he can still grab his infantry from here to hit here, or he could bring his transport down. But it potentially could slow him down by 1 turn from getting to these, possibly. And 1 turn slowdown is a 6 IPC. But looking at all this, I think to protect these guys, because if I don't protect these guys, then I can move those in, and then these guys are exposed to the German air fleet, and I'm a little nervous. I mean, infantry, artillery versus 1 infantry should be good, but I can also use a bomber 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 this turn. So I think we're just gonna play it safe over here and not risk the bombers on infantry. I was really, really tempted to do that, and I'm still kind of think maybe I should, but anyways. We gotta do this with just the subs. I don't want to add an air, because if the fighter hit back, it would take out my air. So it's all about the 2 subs versus the 1 carrier there. 1 bomber that way, 1 this way. I'm going to keep 1 fighter back because I think I might want to fly him over to 15. I apologize. This cold is just lingering on me. So hitting there. Oh, we need our boat. Gotta remember this guy. That could have been bad. I don't want to take the cruiser because I really need it for the defenses of these 4 versus these 5. Because there's 2 bombers loaded in there. Debated using him to hit something. But again, I don't know that it adds much value. So I think I'd rather get him in here and then be able to use him later to hit something outwards. Alright. I think that's what we got drawn up for today. Again, going a little bit quicker than I want to, but of course they hit and he missed. I didn't need to waste my bomber up there, but whatever. There we go. Plane will have to crash. Ooh, I didn't think about, can the plane land? Oh yeah, no, he's filled there. So that plane's gonna have to die. Because they can land on a carrier on the next zone, but his carrier's loaded.
I was gonna say, if I missed having that second bomber over here, I would be very upset. Now they're gonna die because he does have his destroyer and he'll be able to hit them. But it was worth taking out the carrier, I think, because that limits how many fighters he can do the 3-space hit on India and have carriers in range. They're gonna hang tight. I think we're going to hang tight over this way. Right, I think that's everything. So that gives me 6 units for my 3 transports. I wanted to get those transports down now because in essence with them building more air, it's going to be easier to be here and here than in one of these sea zones. And even this sea zone, if he then now next brings his fighters, I was worried about him bringing his fighters up to France and make it even harder to get those transports in the water. So I feel like I need to get those, go ahead and get those transports in the water while there's still only 4 reaching me. So that was the reasoning behind that. So there we go. Okay, continuing this odd game, and again, I've definitely don't think I played it ideally. I really probably shouldn't have messed with this whole Indian fleet when he was doing all this heavy air. That was kind of silly. But in any case, he's gone 2 more fighters for Japan, 3 infantry, 2 artilleries. So a couple situations here. Interesting, actually, I will say, he did attack Sea Zone 35, where I had my 2 subs with a destroyer, 3 fighters, and 1 bomber. He must have gotten 1 hit, and I got a hit back, and he lost his destroyer, and my sub lived. Not that big a deal. This sub's not going to do anything effective, you know, at this point, other than prevent naked transports from going around. But still, found it amusing. You know, dice amusing. Anyways, what this has led, probably the most critical thing this has done is it's pinned my Mediterranean fleet because of the mixed fleet components, with him bringing his 6 fighters down here. So that's probably the biggest thing, because if I pull U.S. out now, that leaves 2 carriers and 2 fighters exposed to the 6 fighters and 2 bombers of Germany. So if I leave them and I attack, Germany has their turn. Maybe they don't do anything, and then it becomes UK's turn. And I could pull these guys out, but then that would leave battleship carrier 2 fighters to 6 fighters. Maybe worth it. Maybe. Just to eat into his fighters, but it would probably be getting sunk. So we got to try to get help down here. Unfortunately, again, the U.S. fleet up here is still tangled up. Now, the good news is we're going to be able to untangle this, Sea Zone 7, with his Japan fighters down here. So UK's turn can move out, and we don't have to worry about these guys getting sniped by Japan. These guys then can go wherever on next U.S. turn. So that's the good news, I guess, is we are going to get to untangle that. But this is going to be a mess. We're going to have to do a noble sacrifice of some sort down here, I'm sure. The other thing is Japan is, I don't see any way of defending Japan, especially with me having to keep my fighters on board here to keep this. I mean, if I just decided to go ahead and sacrifice and let Germany, smoke these guys, and we could, dump 2 fighters here, or I could dump UK fighters and then let Japan hit here. And then pull US. I mean, again, we're just sacrificing our 2 carriers if we do any of that. So I don't think we can spare these fighters out this direction. If anything, maybe we move the fighters that direction. But I'm not going to put any U.S. troops down here. We'll wait till UK's turn to decide what exactly we did end up doing here. But between these four with his 2 transports, so that's 8 units. He's got 4 bombards, 3 battleships and cruisers. So I really had to build a destroyer if I was going to try to stop. So I'm only going to be able to build 2 units. But putting his fighters there's 6 fighters can hit. These 2 fighters can hit and land on the carrier. These 2 fighters can hit. So he's got 10 fighters and a bomber. So he's got 19 units total. 8 ground, 10 fighters, 1 bomber. Threaten down this, and we've got what we got here. You got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plus a build of 3, and I really can't sneak these other guys down. So these guys are gonna get toasted. Now the good news is, unless Germany comes with everything, we could always hit that and then blitz our tanks through to save our tanks out into Africa, and of course the fighters can fly out of here, and then we just have. Then it's just these guys, and it's just that we're giving up the territory. We're giving up India. Which means we then got to be thinking about making sure we don't let any victory cities get set up. So we got to keep an eye on Pearl and any movements that direction. Meanwhile, putting pressure on these guys, get these fleets up and going. So it's going to get iffy here in a little bit. But U.S., we're going to buy 6 infantry, artillery, we're going to buy us a transport, and we're going to buy us 2 fighters up here, so we're going to circulate 2 fighters in. I am going to attempt this. I know, it's silly. We are also going to do this. And I think that might be all our attacks. 2 very risky attacks. This, if you put it in the calculator, is IPC positive, like 55% chance we take it. I'm only using the 1 because this fleet's got to sit here again. And I'm going to move these 2 infantry over. And I'm going to assume he's probably going to vacate here and move over. So maybe I'll drop a AA in there. I don't know. We'll see what he does. We'll see what happens here first. Not very good when the battleship misses. Oh, but good when all of them hit. And they all miss. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. Oh well. Probably not worth it, but he's only got his 1 unit here and only this 1 bomber that can reach here. So 2 or 3 tanks gives me a little mini stack up there. Let's throw an AA in there, make him stack move it. Maybe free a move on to France stuff of some way or some sort. I don't want to move them there because we're probably not going to build that destroyer. Maybe we do build the destroyer just to block the advancement, but just in case, we're going to move him down here and then to here to protect these two and this one until we got to move them back, and then we'll have some guys here, and we're going to start preparing for Japan hitting India and then invading in. Can't go to those two, but we can come on up back up to here. These I really wanted to be able to drop them there and mini stack again so that we would have against these guys, but I think I want to protect my bomber here. These guys are going to hang still. We got plenty coming. I think I'm going to be tempted to do this. He'll have like a 15% shot at these guys. Or if I just do straight out defense with carrier defending, going first, he could get the strafe, but then very unlikely to kill. He does have the 1, 2, 3, 4 build a carrier option. Yeah. Let's leave it this way. Yeah, with that many transports, we just don't want to do the build the carrier attack. So we'll make this as valiant as we can down. Make these guys their sacrifices down here as valiant as possible. I think that's all the U.S. movements. So we have 1 extra, 7, bringing 8 up here, 2 for this guy, 6 for these guys. So we should be good there. Okay, we need 35 infantry and artillery ending here. We got 35 currently. We are building 6, so we can move up to 6 more. Is that this is my artillery we just did, right? Yep. Right, yep. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. I do want to defend this, so I'm going to use my calculator here real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So these 4 fighters can hit 1, 2, 3 to count. So 4 fighters, 2 bombers, plus 2 infantry that would be striking him. If we have 5 infantry and artillery, and we move the AAO over there, that works. If they hit one, we'll probably move one back, but I need 35. We got 36 right here, so we got flexibility if they do hit one, or we can always move these guys if we want to be a little on the safe side. Let's go ahead and put a 3rd infantry to be on the safe side there. haven't decided what I want to do with that tank yet. We'll figure that out after the results of the battles. Good job. Good job. That was this was a big one. We needed to take that, because if we didn't take that, then Germany would be able to blitz to here or here, and I've kind of set myself up that they would be able to hit something if they did. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Good. Oh man, this is where we don't need hitbacks. We need to get them cleaned clear. And he got 2 hitbacks. Son of a gun, of course he did. And I need 6 grounded and AA there, so we've got 1 left we can move from there. I'd like to have 1 going that way. So yeah. I kind of like him up here just to extra protect it. I think we're going to go ahead and move him back here just for any craziness. Hope I did that right, as I wasn't paying nearly enough attention that I should have been paying attention. So Japan may get India, but it's going to be costly for them, hopefully. So at this point, it's a 4. We got a +4. Our income is 100 to 80, but this is going to be changing quickly as he starts making his way into India and then Africa, and eventually he's going to take that back. So we're going to lose right here. This is going to be 8 that flips real quick. So we got to start making some progress on this side of things. All right. So here we go. Germany, 13 infantry, 1 artillery. He's building the marches. He's got lots of units with Germany. Germany's going to be very hard to break, and he's breaking into Africa. So we're definitely going to be in some tough situations here. Hopefully we can pull him out of Caucasus, though, with our next move here of stacking Karelia is what we're going to try to do. So yeah, that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to buy 4 infantry, artillery. We're going to go ahead and buy a destroyer to block him from going straight over to Africa. You know, theoretically, Japan's supposed to be the strong one in this series, since we're mainly investing over on this side. Maybe we need to change that. But any case, so I'd rather slow them down, let Germany come in here, let U.S. fight with Germany. Although, you know, that that leads to the Germany goes Japan fighters, Germany goes Japan fighters, Germany goes Japan fighters, with U.S. hitting it. So I'm almost going to have to start pumping UK down here, but not for a couple turns, it looks like. So not sure that I'm not sure what we're going to do exactly here, other than try to punish Japan for not reinforcing their back lines. So I had all sorts of ideas here. Obviously, India's toast. We knew India's toast. I said India's toast. It was. And so now, no matter what I do, there's nothing I can do to protect India. So now it's okay. I was hoping that he'd only lightly take this, and I'd be able to hit here and blitz my tanks through, but that is not to be the case. So the tanks are going to have to die as well. The 4 air, of course, will survive if I want them to, because I looked at, okay, well, let's just bang the entire UK right into these guys, and what if we air shot these guys and killed these 3? Then he's got no this transport's got nobody it can manage to do, so he can't take India or Borneo with this transport. But he still has these 2, which he could take India and then Borneo with all the fighters added on and the battleships. He could take that with these 2, and then this guy could go back to 62 and just shuttle guys over. So really it slows their shuck by 2 people, but any fighters that I put here, we're going to have to land in India and they get killed. So is slowing their shuck by 2 people for losing some fighters worth it? Ultimately, 1, risky if I want to do 1, most likely 2 fighters. Not worth it when I want to get 2 fighters over in C-Zone 15. So then I looked at the possibility of picking off this guy with the bomber, and then the tanks could run free, except for if we're not doing all that, then he can just bring his transports up and drop people in these spots, or at least one of them, drop them at least here. And so we're not going to be running free with the tanks anyways. So I don't know that that's too beneficial, and I really want to go ahead and pick this guy off so that he's only got air to attack here, because with the 1 infantry take, this is actually slightly positive versus being negative if this guy did not exist. So I'm going to take 1 fighter, 1 bomber to pick off this guy. If they both survive, fantastic. Fighter lands here, adds that defense. Bomber goes to here. If they don't survive, if they get a hit back, I haven't decided what I do yet. We'll figure that out. If I kill the bomber, let the fighter survive, he'll be here. But then when Russia moves, Germany does have a fighter bomber that he could attack it with if he wants. So it almost need to have at least 1 infantry back, which that's not a bad thing either. So probably keep the fighter alive just because I'm feeling a little weak here. And we're going to build us a bomber. So that's our build. I haven't decided if I'm going to put 1 infantry in India or not. That way, if he wants to take it with Germany, he actually at least has to use 2 units to be confident. I don't know. I haven't decided that. But I do think we're just going to go ahead and do this. These guys are going to go that way so that we can pull 1 of these carriers out. How do I want to do this? I think I really do need to take this guy, so I think we're going to do that. And then this guy, we'll grab these. This guy will grab, come on, him. I think that's it. I think that's our attacks there. Five versus is 4. Unlikely. Yeah. I can't spare anybody else, so unlikely it'll have to be. All right. It actually might be worth taking the bomber here, because I was planning on bringing an extra U.S. transport. Let's think this through. So I need 9. What do I need? 10. I think, actually. Let me get my good old calculator up here, because I did calculate this out for the G7 Corellia. Yeah, I need 10 plus a tank plus AA and my fighters. So we're going to have 6 in the AA from here and the tank. So we need 4. So I was planning on bringing 2 transports over. But if I sacrifice the bomber, I only need to be 1 transport. And that means this other transport can go back and grab guys. That'll be, so he'll go US 6, US 7, dropping 2 guys here on US 7 versus 6, 7, 8, 9. So 2 turns, in essence, of troops coming over quicker for the cost of a bomber. That seems crazy, but I think that's the better way to go. I think that's a smart thing to do. I mean, the UK guy can still come straight back to here and still be effective next turn, so it's not as big. And if we can only have to send 1 US guy out of his way, because we'll have 8. Yeah, I think I'm going to sacrifice the bomber. I hate to just about bombers, but that's a weird. I don't know. You guys can comment what you think about that if you're listening to this. Sacrificing the bomber, was it the smart thing to do there or not? No! Come on. There you go, tank. Oh, daggers. Dang it. Well, the good news is that Japan can't do anything with it. These guys are 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. You know, they can't hit here and land here, and his bomber's down here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, the bomber still, it can't use it to get over there. So Japan can't do anything with it. U.S. has got 9 guys coming that'll hit that. And then plus the 4 from here, that's not going to. So we'll have 13 guys going there. So not horrible, but prefer to have those guys alive. Not okay. this untangled a little bit. So I'm thinking I might actually just drop 2 infantry here after all. It's gonna give me a little less to shuck off the shuck to use the AA gun to be efficient. But 2 infantry and an AA means if Japan wants to take it, they'll have to trust the battleships with 2 infantry. Infantry artillery. Yeah. It's a little more awkward to take. I think I might just do that. I think I will put 2 infantry in there. Nothing else to do. And yes, we're gonna have to move at least 2 of these boats, if not all 3 up here. At least 2 of the boats up here for the German 2 bombers, but the fighters again are hitting 3/4, just like these Japan fighters can't do anything there. So all right. So if I decide I can use that transport, then I can take 1 transport back to grab those guys. Otherwise, I have 3 plus the AA that I can grab with these 2 guys and chuck back up this way. Or here, or attack here, or whatever. We got options. So there we go. I expect Japan to push back against Russia a little bit. And we'll see. Oh, I took the US turn and completely forgot about recording. I took Russia's turn's pretty much over at this point. Real quick, US, we bought 2 fighters that we dropped here, 6 infantry, 2 artillery that we dropped here. We attacked here, working on stacking here. I forgot to attack here, so I just pulled my transports out, moved my destroyers down, got enough to protect these guys from the 2 bombers that Germany has. He could take those 2 bombers versus my carrier. I'm a little worried about that, because we do got a lot of guys sitting in there. Hopefully not, but we'll see. But we are going for the stack there. Russia, meanwhile, we blitzed the tank through here and then took here, killing an infantry. We tried to do a 2-on-1 here. He got 1 hit, so we just retreated back. But I decided I wasn't going to try to hold this right now. So we're going to pull him back. Got my infantry there, okay.
That won't be the same team we're facing. And it won't be the same team the US had either. So it was a little bit of a feeling process between the 2. I agree with her. But I still believe you're hosting the tournament. You should do well.
Discourage any airstrikes there. I think we're going to leave the 2 infantry here. Main reason, he's got fighter bomber that could attack. What's, 1 infantry? Let's see. Is that something we'd be willing to do? 1 infantry fighter versus a fighter bomber? Yeah, I think we will pull infantry back. Can air hit here?
So yeah, no, let's bring this AA back this direction towards Moscow.
Suddenly it's a one-point game after the made free throw. More KD, 17 points in the second quarter. His most points in a quarter this season. He had 21 in the first half. And the Rockets
And there we go.
now have a lead at the break.
Sorry about forgetting the recording there, but that's what we got going on. I haven't even looked at this in a while. 215, 219, so they still got a little bit of an edge, and they're about to start getting income advantage here. So we're a little behind, I think, maybe. Germany's pretty dang strong. That's a concern. Japan's not so strong, but now they're going to start getting strong, right? Russia's pretty big. U.S. is starting to mobilize, and we're starting to finally untangle this. With all his Japan and German area he's got going, I think we're going to just continue to try and untangle this, save what we can, and focus on the north, and then also coming down here to contest Africa. So instead of Med, we're going to be doing our shuck up here and contesting Africa, I think.
Alright, we're going to do a quick turn here. Germany moved into West Russia, stacking West Russia, threatening here and here. We're going to go ahead and try and stack this. We are going to have to sacrifice a transport in doing so, but that'll hopefully keep our carriers and destroyers alive. We're going to throw these guys up for Japan to hit. You know, that's 4 strong hitters. He's got 6 and 2 bombers, so he's got 8 that can hit there. 1, 2, 3, 4, but then they're not getting into here, which I haven't run the numbers. Let's see here real quick. Yeah, they need 4 fighters and 2 bombers up here. So 2 fighters come from here, 2 fighters from here. This bomber could hit, this bomber could not. So that gives them 4 fighters and a bomber to attack it. And although that'll give them odds. There's no transport. Is it worth it for them? We'll see. We'll let them make that decision. We're not going to make that decision for them. They get to choose. So we're going to build 4 infantry and a fighter bomber. One, two, three. One, two, three, 4. They can hit there. 1, 2, 3. They can't hit anything. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they can't hit over there. Nice. That's always good. There we go. Much better. Ooh, we can leave one of these guys back. This gives me 4 fighters coming in, 8, 10, 2 more that can get there. We're good there. Yeah, I think we're doing all right here. working towards getting us untangled, but like I said, we are going to give him that little bit of exposure there. We'll see what he thinks, but like I said, he needs to get some fighters in there, so he may not be worth them. Oh, this guy. Let's see. What do we want to do here? Can't go that way.
The First Christmas, Tuesday on ABC.
It's the coziest time of year on Redbox.
Very cozy.
That means coming by the fire, basking in the ambiance, and starting new traditions.
How often do people get murdered around here?
However you cozy, it's all a big warm-up with Redbox.
Keep your family warm and comfortable this winter with Michael
And there we go.
Heating Tune-Up for only $69. Michael and Son's precision heating tune-up will ensure your system is running at peak performance all season long, saving you money on maintenance and energy bills. So
All right, so Japan's turn. They bought 9 infantry and another bomber. So again, they are really getting kind of heavy on this air, which means you really got to get the fleets straightened away. Good news is he did not attack this, which is what I kind of suspected. He did kill my transport, and that was one. And plus, like I said, he needed his air here in order to protect his Germans. So we can pull them out. We're going to have to just bail on the med and focus north, and then also start shipping Africa, because he's got, you know, bombers he's got sitting here, so we got to protect them too. So we're going to, as well as protect this fleet coming around the Horn of Africa eventually here. So yeah, so that's what we're going to be looking at. Good news is we got to protect against these five planes. During German's turn, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we can move the 2 destroyers out still. And then when UK moves out of here, there's no German that can hit here, or maybe the 2 bombers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, no, even the 2 bombers can't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, the 2 bombers can't even hit there. So the U.S. is then safe. So we'll have these. We'll have our UK will probably either come to 6 and drop fighters if we can, and take Northwest Europe. Then these guys only have 2 bombers that can hit. It just kind of depends what they do here. I mean, they got 9 there, so there's probably a good chance that we can't quite do that. So we may come to here, build us that 3rd transport back, and then get our shuck going, get a defensive here so that we can get transports here, and focus 3, 10, 23 is where our 3 fleets will be focusing at. So that's the plan. We're not going to go to 10 this turn. So we need to get these 2 fighters into Karelia, as well as all of these 12 units, as well as the 3 Russian tanks getting over there. Because this is very thin, it's not even really worth me flying a... I was thinking about the 2 fighters and attacking here, but that would actually then make Moscow kind of risky, like a 50-50 for Germany. I'm not sure I really want to go that route. I can do an infantry artillery attack where it's a 50-50-ish, and if he gets 1 hit and I get nothing, I can retreat and I'm still fine. Or 1-on-1. The biggest danger would be if I got none and he got 2 hits, then it starts getting a little ishy here. But I think it might be worth the possibility of getting that income nonetheless. But yeah, no, I think that's still going to be okay. We are going to have to drop 2 Russian infantry here as well to complete this full stack. The good news is I feel like once we get this stacked, we're going to be doing pretty good, because we then have 3 units we can fly in, 4, 5 with those guys coming in, 6, 7 with Russia being able to build units, plus 6 that he's bringing in. So that'll be 13 units we're going to be able to add to Karelia's defense versus Germany the next turn. Now, he could build some units. He can move these 4 in, and he could build some units here and some planes, and or maybe he moves these guys in which would be risky because that's kind of a dead zone. So I don't know. I think I think we've got Karelia permanently potentially here, which is big. Now we just need to take this back and then start squeezing them back, and then meet him up here. And Japan has a while till they can get forward. Now we got a while till we can overcome all of this Germans, but we need to start making pressure here and then start leaking in. If he keeps sitting here, then eventually we can just move our stack to here and be side by side, and then these guys get stuck, get cut off. So he can't stay in here forever. And we're going to be building up UK presence, so he'll have to leave more and more back to cover his Japan air if he hasn't gotten them out in time. So we are going to buy 10 ground and a transport. So how did I calculate 10 ground? 2 for here. That's where I'm actually going to put the 2 tanks so that they can get to Karelia next turn and then to Moscow. So 2 here. These are going to take 6 this turn, so that's going to leave 2 back here. We need 8 coming in here, so there's another 6. That makes 8, so we still got 2 left over. We need 2 more than for here because we need 4 for these guys, so we need to build 2 for here. So we got 2 here, 2 for these guys. That gives us the build of 4. Ground so far. And then we're also going to have these 3 guys coming back, needing to come back. So they need 6 build. And I feel like I'm falling short here now. Now my count's feeling off. Let me recount this. Yeah, I think I goofed up. And this is what I get for trying to pre-plan. So we're gonna take everything off. Start back from scratch how I normally do things. So I start with the bare minimum. I need 2 infantry for there to make use of that factory. All right. We need, he's going to take away 6, so that's going to leave me 2 down here. We need 8 for them, so we'll move 6 up. That leaves us a +2 still here. We need 4 units for these guys coming back, so we need to add 2. Now, we also got these 3 transport and this 1 transport, so 4 transports will be in C-Zone 3. So we need to build the ground for them to be able to come back to match next time. So we need to build 8 units for them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units for them. To add a transport, you really need to have 13 IPC. So I can't really add a transport this turn. Now comes to, I'd like to have tanks and or 2 fighters here. We can't build 2 fighters. Putting 1 unit on the ground is an easy strafe. So we're going to take 2 infantry off and put 2 tanks in. And then that leaves over here, if we put it, we could put a 3rd tank in for Africa blitzing. But I think that's going to be more of a slow build type thing. So we also could build 3 artillery, which we need more artillery. We got 13. We got a lot of infantry, so we could use a little more artillery. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we're going to change our build to this. No transport, because we need 12 units to fill what we need. 2 here. 8 for these guys. 2 for the transports coming back. And we already got the other 2 there. There we go. I think that's it. And I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to play it and hope I got it right. Attacks. Do we have any attacks? I don't know that we have any attacks. Oh, yes, we do. I don't need these fighters up here, so they can go 1, 2, 3, 4 and land here so that these guys are ready to do something next turn. Although he's probably just, he's going to move his Germans in here and maybe these guys just match in. He's got 2 loads
that he can grab. So he's going to be landing 4. So we're going to be in trouble here anyways. We're going to go 1, 2. We're going to need to be retreating back. Do we retreat this turn to here? But then that gives that free, or do we retreat? Yeah, I think we're going to stay there for right now. But I think that is our only attack. We still have Bowser, no destroyer up there we have to worry about. He's got a free transport down here. Bummer. I hate to see that. But I kind of want to leave here, so he has to use a transport. If he does take Alaska, we got the infantry tank that can go in. I guess building that 3rd tank may not have been a bad idea. We could have put over here so that we could have done cleanup if the infantry tank of UK doesn't work against them. But he's got 4 units here, like he plans on using his 2 transports to shuck those guys. So I don't think he's thinking Alaska, but in any case, I got nothing else for U.S. attacks. Good shot. Good show. So with both of them living, if I move him back, he can just easily kill, you know, he gets a free kill on these guys. I don't have anybody else coming in, so we might as well just throw him in here as hit fodder. Now, his 2 bombers could strike there if he wants to risk them over 2 destroyers, but I'm not going to have any transports there for him. We're not going to give him anything in that regards. I can go ahead and move them all, right? Yeah, we got plenty of builds coming in, so we can just move them on up. Yeah, if he wanted a naked transport there anyways, I'd just be able to go back and kill him, so we'll go ahead and move down here, make sure he doesn't keep getting a freebie movement down here. I think that's everybody. Now, he could airstrike that, obviously. Either 2 bombers, or he could use his... Actually, they can't, but these fighters could go 1, 2, 3, 4, and the bombers. But I should be able to get a hit back, so he's risking a 10 point for killing 12. I'll take that on the Allied's positive, you know, where we're wanting to attack, so I'm okay with that if he did that. Let's see, we got, that's what, the 2, is that right? 2 for Corellia, right? 2, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. If we're lucky, we'll get 17, 18.
I mean, we got 9 artillery right there. I'm just gonna build infantry and save the 1. And our only attack is going to be this. I can't even use my fighters because I need them up there for defense. Boom. Boom. Alright, yep, and I gotta retreat. Not gonna risk it. Unfortunate. Oh. If I hadn't done that, I could have used an infantry to block him from blitzing in and out, but we need everybody here now. Do need to drop 2 in there, 5 in there. There we go. Let's take a look at this guy. Oh, hey, we got a small edge. I can never remember in this game where we were. 85 income coming though. That's starting to go up. 90. So fairly even there. Positionally, he's right next to my capital. I'm nowhere near next to his capital, so I'd say he's probably got slight advantage. And he's got initiative into Africa, so overall he probably has slight advantage in this. Other than the fact that I've stacked Karelia, which means I can start bleeding in. So if I can successfully defend and push, counter in Africa and start pumping infantry, pumping ground through here, he'll have to pull back, and that'll gain us some money through here because he does not have a lot of counter. So hopefully it's tight. It's a tight game, without a doubt.